windows.
If only June and Jerry had done a free consultation with Renewal by Andersen, their new replacement windows would be in, and their guests wouldn't be out in the cold.
Swedish meatball, anyone?
Only if I could eat it inside.
Trust me, it's warmer out here than it is in the house.
If only they knew that Renewal has acclaimed custom windows and ensemble doors to keep their home warm and cozy. With financing options even cheapskate Jerry can afford.
What?
My fingers are frozen.
My nose hairs are frozen.
Mine broke off. Worst party ever.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit acclaimed windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Andersen. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
At Spearfish GMC Cadillac, we know spring is right around the corner, but the deals this month are already hot. Right now, drive home a GMC Sierra 1500 with up to $6,250 in total savings, or choose 0% financing for 36 months. Sierra HDs with savings up to $2,500, plus just announced $1,000 bonus cash on GMC Terrain, or drive home a new Acadia with special APR as low as 1.9%. Shop anytime at SpearfishMotors.com. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. We are professional grade.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
In 2023, the Indianapolis Colts selected quarterback Anthony Richardson with the 4th overall selection. Today, they let Richardson and his agent know that they can seek a trade elsewhere. Richardson likely out of his way or going out of town from Indianapolis after playing in just 17 games for the Colts in the past 3 seasons. Suffered an eye injury in pregame warmups this past year. The Athletic reports that Richardson has recovered fully from that injury and has full vision in his right eye. The NFLPA report cards are out, leaked to ESPN. The Miami Dolphins have the highest grades of any of the 32 teams in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers with the lowest grade. The NFL had fought for the NFLPA to not publicly release them. They didn't, but they were privately released. NFL insider Jordan Schultz says the Bears have received calls about wide receiver DJ Moore. Jets are trading Jermaine Johnson to the Titans for defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're ready to go on this Thursday. The Nate Brown Show is ready across the state on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks for being here and making this show possible. Hope you're having a great Thursday. It is a great day in South Dakota. We can always say that. Always a great day in South Dakota, and South Dakota Sports Talk Show is live. Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates, we appreciate you. KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, welcome in East River. Also West River, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome you into South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where we're streaming on Midwest Sports Plus. If you have that app, great. You can watch us on Midwest Sports Plus and live games. They're having some great coverage of hoops and wrestling and the whole thing. State wrestling going on. So Midwest Sports Plus, the place for high school sports live streaming, and the Nate Brown Show. Plus, we're on X right now. Follow us, watch us live at Nate Brown Show on X right now. And welcome in studio. A lot more people watching on YouTube, so that's good stuff. You can find us, The Nate Brown Show. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that. The Nate Brown Show. Search for us on YouTube, and you've got us. Just a look on this Thursday. Well, Rob Kagron's back and ready. It's a Thursday happy hour. Rob's going to pop in second hour, full hour with national radio host Rob Kagron, and a lot to discuss. Packed lineup until then. Let's look at it. James Merlat's on, talking NFL Combine. He's covering the Broncos and more. James Merlat is in today from 104.3 The Fan, live from Denver, denversports.com. James Merlat on tonight. Scott Pianowski drops by, national Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. I am going to revisit the baseball automated strike deal. I'm trying to determine where the public's at on this thing, the automated balls and strikes. And Scott Pianowski's in tonight. His take, he'll be covering the season. Yahoo Sports National Major League Baseball writer. We'll go to Zach Borg tonight, Midwest Sports Plus, high school play-by-play man, longtime TV anchor. Zach Borg live tonight from Sioux Falls. He was at state wrestling earlier, so we'll kind of break into that stuff and more. Zach Borg on tonight from Midwest Sports Plus. If you want in tonight, we'll get you on 605-720-1067. That's our number. 605-720-1067. Join the conversation, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in location in Brandon. Outstanding. Great Fun Zone Arcade there in Brandon. Check it out. Home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. And remember, we ask a question of the day. I'll give a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. Been doing that to all sorts of listeners across the Nate Brown Show. So free buffet to the Pizza Ranch just for answering our question of the day on the text line. But you got to text in your answer to be pulled out. We're giving away a buffet a day. 605-720-1067. That is the Barron's Wilson listener text line for you. 605-720-1067. We're set. Housekeeping in order. Let's get out of the gate on a Thursday. Okay, let's go to this South Dakota sports debate that never ends. And I thought it was ending. I thought it was over, but I guess it just gets revived this time of year because people think about postseason high school basketball and people think about, do we get the best teams to the state tournament in South Dakota high school basketball? So we need to have a history lesson tonight for those of you that aren't aware. Some of you guys know how it's all been done way long ago, the two-class system and how that all went. I'm just going to go back not that far, but I'm going to go back to when we had districts and regions, especially in the AA level, so the big school level. We used to have district championships, the crosstown rivalries, and you'd see Sioux Falls play each other, you'd see Rapid City play each other, and the winner of those districts would go to the state AA basketball tournament. Well, as we thought about, are we getting the best teams to state? I walked along that line there a little bit, and I said, I don't know if we should get rid of the district championships. I'm trying to be consistent over the years. Why did I say that? Great gate for the local schools, so you had great crowds. The fans had to love it. They got to watch their rivalries for a shot to go to the state tournament. And you had the players who had to love it. Crosstown rivalry, shot to go to state. So I always thought the district championships from a experience side, fans, players, coaches, community, school, budget, I always thought that was pretty good. Now, I understand we got rid of the district championships. I understand. And why did we do that in South Dakota high school basketball? We got rid of the districts, especially the AA level, because they thought there are teams getting into the state AA tournament that did not deserve, that's the key word, they did not deserve to get into the state tournament. Even if you were in an easy district, they call it, an easy district, then you could just walk your way in, you'd beat your district teams, and then you got to the state AA tournament, everybody whined, and they didn't like that. I was walking that line. I've told you why I like the districts. I still think that was okay, but I will give a little bit of credence. I'll give a little bit of validity to the SODAC 16 coming into play years ago. And what is the SODAC 16? You guys know now it's not districts at AA, so you're trying to get to the state basketball tournament. It comes down to being in the 16, and then you're seeded out for a one-game special. So you could be really hot on one night, and you could get your team to the state tournament. That's the flaw in this. So I think the SODAC 16 has worked out. There hasn't been a ton of upsets, a ton of bad teams getting to the state tournament. So I'm not going to poo-poo the SODAC 16. It's fine. I think it's working out okay, and I'm serious about that. So I still will say, if you have somebody that catches the flu, somebody that goes down, and you got a SODAC 16 game, that's your star player, That could change the whole trajectory. That could change the whole landscape. So I don't know if the one-game special is the greatest sign of who are the best 8 teams, but people say it's better than the district championships where you had geographical representation and you just had to win your district. But keep in mind, when you won your district, it was winning more than just one game. But people said, well, there's easy districts, and that's how they did it. Okay, I understand. So there's the history lesson. Why am I talking about this tonight? There is another conversation that keeps getting revived up. We have a SODAC 16 model in place. I thought everybody's pretty happy. You get a lot of the teams that are good, they get matched up, and you seed it out 1 through 16, 2, 15, and on down the line. And so I think most people are happy with this. However, we've gotten into Class A and Class B now, and people are complaining, and they've been doing this the last few years. This isn't just this year. They've been complaining about, well, even in Class A and Class B, there's teams that are getting into the SODAC 16 because we still have those regions. They just aren't as good as some of these stacked regions that are really, really good. And we got people that are still complaining about this, and I thought, no, if you're in Class A and B and you win, you're in the top 2 of your region, you got to be pretty good because you got to win some games to get there. Region play starting right now in girls basketball, by the way. And so you got to be pretty good to be in the top 2 of your region. Are you following me? So we take the top 2 in each region. Top 2. Not just a walkthrough. Not everybody. It's the top 2. And you got to be pretty darn good, okay? So now people are saying, well, there's some regions that aren't as good. Oh, boy, where have I heard this before? Going all the way back to when the SODAC 16 started. There's some regions that just aren't as good, and then there's some regions that are just packed. I mean, the regions are good, and they now want to go to a SODAC 32. And you've heard this mentioned in South Dakota high school basketball. It's been brought up at basketball meetings, volleyball meetings, and they're trying to tell you the Class A and Class B level in the state, there's stacked regions, and there's a third-place team in one of those regions that could be a state champion. That's what the argument's trying to tell you. And I think we just got to say, guys, I'm going to stick with this. If you can't get out of your region in Class A and Class B, you're not one of the top 2 teams. It's not like we just take the top one. We take the top 2. So if you can't be the top 2 in your region, you aren't going to win the state championship more than likely. Is that fair enough to say? I think we can say that, yet people continue to say, oh, man, look at this Class B region, look at this region, look at that region. And I'm just telling you, sports is not perfect. We can't have a perfect system. The SODAC 32 would bring in all sorts of teams, more travel, worse on the budgets. You're not going to have any great games in that first round with 1 through 32. So, I mean, we're just trying to find another avenue to let more people get a shot. And this is funny because a lot of people will say in the football side of things, well, you just got to get better. If your team's not good enough to win in the playoffs, you just got to get better. They'll say that on the football argument, but then they'll, in the basketball side, well, we got to open it up for, let's go 32 teams, not just 16. And I'm telling you, I'm just going to hold with that. If you're in the top 2 in your region, in Class A and Class B, if you're in the top 2, you're in the SODAC 16. So is it that hard to be in the top 4? So now we're going to go 4, top 4 in each region. I believe it waters it down. I believe you're going to have bad matchups in the first round, and then you add another round of travel and the whole thing. I'm telling you, this keeps on coming up, and they brought it up the last few years, and people keep on bringing it up, and it keeps getting voted out at the committees. They bring this up in the Basketball Advisory Committee. It doesn't even make it out. It's not even making it to the ADs, essentially. But people keep on trying to say you can pick and choose this year and that year. This region's great. There's really good teams in it. Well, I understand that's sports. That is sports. Everything can't quite just be, we're going to for sure get the best 8 teams if we allow the Sodak 32. I'm not buying it. Sodak 16 system has worked. I've come along with that. I was telling you I'm okay with it. And now we just want to keep adding and adding. By the way, I have a big question here on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Question of the day. Sodak 32 continues to be brought up. Sodak 32 continues to be brought up. You know what else I continue to bring up in football? A success factor so we can have football classes that are more competitive, that are maybe better experiences for some teams that can't match up against some huge schools. So I said, we need enrollment and a success factor to see which programs should be playing each other, not just, well, you're a big school, so you're here. You're a medium school, you're here. We need to have more data-driven. So I want to tell you, I keep bringing up the success factor. They have a committee that's actually looking at it. We're looking at it. Let me ask you this question. It's a fun one. Maybe you'll give me the answer here. Which is going to happen first in South Dakota high school sports? These two things that I keep on, I don't keep talking about it. Sodak 32, I thought I was done. I was done with it. But it's continuing to happen. So success factor, I want that to happen. Yet it's in the committee level, and we're just going to keep on going. And I don't know if this is ever going to come to fruition. So which happens first? That's my question of the day. A success factor for football classes, we change up that system and not just do solely enrollment, or will the Sodak 32 state basketball qualifying finally make its way online? If you were to vote, give me your vote tonight. 2 topics that keep on coming around the bend. Sodak 32's been talked about, discussed, thrown out. Talked about, discussed, thrown out, and now it's brought back up again. And there's people that really want to see this in the media. There's people that say, oh, we got to make sure this is right. There's some folks, East River, in certain regions that say, yeah, we just have too tough of a region. Sorry that you're in a tough region. You got to be in the top 2. If you're not in the top 2 of your region, are you a state championship contender? I don't know. Probably not, because you couldn't get in the top 2 of your region. I mean, I think that's common sense there. But which happens first in South Dakota high school sports? That's my question of the day. Sodak 32 state qualifying, or the success factor in football classification, or I'll give you a third option tonight. Neither will happen. Success factor is just being talked about. It'll be dead. Sodak 32 will keep on coming back every year, and it'll be and it'll be killed in committee. Which one happens first, or do neither of them happen here in South Dakota high school sports? You tell me. 605-720-1067. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. There's people voting on this. Let me see what they're saying. 45% number one vote getter. Neither of these will happen in South Dakota. We think that positively today. Neither of these will happen. They'll keep on being discussed. Oh, we need this. We really need this for basketball. We really need this for football competitiveness and classification, some different model. You say 45% neither will happen. 38% second vote getter is the Sodak 32 will happen before the success factor in football. You tell me on the text line. We'll throw you into a drawing. Pull out a winner to a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch tonight. Lister text. Let's look at Region 4A, historically the toughest region. Top 4 teams in that region would beat most teams in their class every year. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Because here's all, I mean, I understand. I've seen some really good regions. I see some, here on a radio show, we're not going to, people will have to look it up. You know some of these regions that have had some of these really good programs. There's some really good regions in volleyball, for example. There's some really solid programs in basketball in certain regions. But they always say, well, these teams would always beat all these other teams. The seed point system is just a system. We always look at these seed points and we say, well, look, The top 3 teams, they're in the same region. The top seeded teams are in the same region. The seed point system is just a data system, right? And how is it put together? It's a data system that gives a point value to your opponent's win-loss record. So it's who you play. You get certain points for that. And what your outcome is of your games as well. So it's not an exact science. Like, you can't say the seed point system is, well, that tells you who the best team is without a doubt. This is basketball. I understand it gives you a general sense. Hey, they have a good record. They played a pretty good schedule. They must be pretty good. That's what the seed point system's telling you. It's not an exact science. Well, these top-seeded teams are in the same region. That means the system's flawed. The top-seeded teams are in the same region. Then we're not getting the best teams to state. No. It's because their opponent's win-loss record was good. They get value in that in the seed point system, and their record's pretty good. So I'm not telling you they're bad teams. I just can't guarantee that because they're seeded, their seed points are good, that they're the best teams. I can't guarantee that. Let's see here. Lister text, I don't believe either of these will happen. Success factor in football or a Sodak 32. Lister text, these are the same ADs that refuse to let schools go down a class but want to add more teams for a basketball tournament. It makes no sense. One more. Lister text, if you look at girls region 3B this year, Ethan, Coleman, Egan, and Chester all have good records. Those are probably the top 5 in the state. Yeah, I mean, it might be, they're pretty good. But let's see who wins out of there. I don't know if all 3 of those teams, Ethan, Coleman, Egan, Chester, I've been following this, voting in the poll and looking at everybody's season. I don't know who's going to come out of there. Is somebody going to be better than Lyman or somebody like this? I don't know that. I mean, you just got to be in the top 2. That's what the system is Sodak 16. You get in your top 2 in your region, you've had a great year. And if you're in a really tough region, you've had an outstanding year. But if you just can't get in the top 2 in your region, that's just the way that is. Every season's different. Every season's different. We have bad games if we go to 32 teams. We have a bunch of bad games. Teams spend money to go to these neutral sites. I mean, it's just one more round to think we're going to get all teams in the same region in. So we'll discuss this again. Got to get moving tonight. Great guest lineup, including Scott Pianowski, Major League Baseball writer for Yahoo Sports. Do we like the automated ball strike system? It is coming into play. That's my next question for you and him coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
Are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some claim 20% no and notes. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? Green bar? I mean, you're playing craps one and the next you're looking at. Is that a gunfight for that? You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Thursday edition, packed. Good stuff. We'll try and get to your texts and all that good stuff. Thanks for sending them in. High school sports discussions, round and round we go. Sodak 32 revived for the 9th year. Anyway, I don't know how long it's going on, but long time. Success factor, the hill I'm trying to battle on. I'm battling. I'm not dying on the hill. I'm battling. Success factor for football classifications. Please, can we get better classes in South Dakota high school football with a success factor and enrollment? Which happens first? Sodak 32 for state basketball qualifying or a success factor in high school football classifications? Our high school question of the day. You let me know which happens first. Sodak 32 is second. You guys are voting neither will happen. It's South Dakota. We'll just stay the same. All right. 605-720-1067 on the text line. Scott Pianowski's back on Major League Baseball, Yahoo Sports. Spring training's underway. World Baseball Classic's coming up. And, boy, we've already got a big topic that people are throwing around, the ABS system, automated balls and strikes, and the challenge system is going to be in for the regular season. Scott, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Doing good, man. Welcome back. Here we go. Baseball just getting going. I'm going to start with this spring training deal. And I just watch the highlights. I'm not taking in every game like you, but I'm watching the highlights. Red Sox Pirates, 5 straight challenges. This was in the first 4 innings. First 4 innings, 5 straight challenges on balls and strikes, and they were all successful. So they just kept on going. I'm wondering how this is going to add to my enjoyment of the game. You sell me on this, the automated ball strike challenge system from the hitter, pitcher, and catcher.
Well, it's the right verdict. There aren't that many challenges in a game. The challenges are adjudicated quickly. They can only be done by only limited amount of people have the authority to call a challenge. This isn't football where it's like, okay, let's call a timeout and think about the challenge or go to commercial break. The game momentum. NBA, let's spend 20 minutes figuring out this 0.3 of a second left on the clock. It doesn't stem stem the enthusiasm of the game. And eventually, what this really is a baby step towards automated balls and strikes is going to be in our lifetime. I don't know if that's 5 years away, 10 years away, 20 years away, but it's a system. We've seen it to anybody who's maybe unsure of it. Just look, if you ever watch a tennis match, they challenge a call, they show it on the screens, get a good look. Okay, that ball was out, move on. And then nobody thinks twice about it. It's worked seamlessly in tennis. I think it's going to be similar to that. The thing that it also makes it fun is that baseball is a game where you want to play around with the manager. You want to guess along with them. You know, should you take the pitcher out? Should you bunch here? Should you pinch hit? You know, stuff like that. Should you intentionally walk somebody here? When should you challenge, right? Should you never challenge with a lesser hitter? Should certain counts will be 1-1 count, 3-2 count will be challenge heavy. If a 3-0 pitch misses, that isn't really worth it for a challenge in most cases because the count has already gone in a certain way. So it's going to take getting used to because it's different. But unlike a lot of other systems, and again, football's gotten better with this, right, where they can do the replay assist and they can get a play right where it doesn't even impact the game. It just takes a second. Okay, that was obviously not a catch. Move on. What I like about this is it's not going to be obtrusive, right? Baseball's made all this headway. The pitch clock, the games have better pace. We just had a great World Series. So much momentum, which is why like December of 2026 presses the heck out of me. But I don't think this is going to get in the way of the game at all.
Okay, very interesting. That's your take. I'm going to tell you, I just watched the highlights of that Red Sox Pirates. I thought it did. I mean, the umps announcing to the crowd, well, the pitch has been challenged. And we wait and we see. I honestly thought it did slow it down, as in baseball has sped things up. And people are going to say, Scott, well, if you go to the studies in minor leagues, it only adds a minute and a half to the total length of the games. I just feel the optics feel clunky to me when you're announcing the challenges when we had 5 and 3 innings.
I get it. I think it might have been a little bit of an unusual set of circumstances. And also, remember, the teams are getting used to it, too. So there might have just been some momentum where it's like, okay, how does this work? How do we do a challenge? Maybe you just saw a case where they all kind of patched together. That's not going to happen in the regular season because in the spring training, there's really no stakes where nobody cares if they win or lose. They're there to get in shape, develop their players, maybe look at some players. Connor Griffin, by the way, of the Pirates, I hope you got to look at him, who's a very exciting young player. I don't know how long the Pirates can keep Skeens and keep Connor Griffin, but they're going to be worth watching for a few years. And, of course, the ballpark there is great as well. But I think maybe you just saw an unusual – because what's going to happen, Nate, is people don't want to lose their challenges early in a game because what if you blow a call on to Shohei Ohtani in the 9th inning of a 3-3 game? You needed to have a challenge then. So I think this was just a case of they're feeling it out, and you might get a flow of challenges that you wouldn't get in a regular season game when they actually matter who wins and loses.
Okay, interesting point, because that was my question, was people said, hey, you got to get these calls right because the balls and strikes will matter in the 9th inning of a game. Well, I said, right. What if a batter burns up both of them in the 2nd inning? That could happen.
Also, interesting point, but they found out the pitchers are basically bad at challenging. They're less than a coin flip. The hitters are a little bit better. The players who get it right the most are the catchers. They have the best view. They're static. They're not trying to hit the ball. They're just trying to catch it, and obviously they're playing around with the pitcher, what pitcher we're going to call, and all that stuff. So I think you're going to find out that the guys who are normally right more often than not are the guys who are the catchers. And it's ironic because this system is going to take away one of their skill sets, right? You think about like Patrick Bailey in San Francisco, not much of a hitter. Why is he valuable to them? Why does he win Gold Gloves? Part of it is the pitch framing. And what is pitch framing? It's just fooling the umpire, right? This pitch was off the plate. I'm going to make it look like a strike. I know some of my friends in the industry, it drives them crazy. Joe Sheehan can't stand this thing. Fooling the umpire should not be part of the game design. So maybe that's going to be, this is the last wave of pitch framing catchers, and eventually when we have automated balls and strikes, we will have them someday. Maybe that art won't really matter to a catcher's profile.
Scott Pianowski joining us, Major League Baseball, yahoosports.com. Follow him on X at Scott_Pianowski, talking this ABS system. It will be implemented, automated ball strike challenge system for the regular season for Major League Baseball. Where do you think this came from, Scott? Because you said we're going to go even further here coming up, just going to be automated eventually. Where did this come from? The Rob Manfred, the players? Where did it all come from?
That's a good question. I don't have a definitive answer. I'd like to think it's some of the secondary people. You think of people like Theo Epstein, whose job has just been make baseball better. And some of the groundswell, some of the people who saw that the pitch clock was a good thing. And again, what a wonderful development in baseball to get the game back. Bob Costas used to say, look, baseball had a leisurely pace. That was good. When it had a lethargic pace, that was bad. So, again, I like the momentum of baseball's never going to be football again in this country, but it used to be the most important sport in America. And just to see it gaining momentum again on the heels of Ohtani and the World Series we just had, I think anything that can make the game more fair, more equitable, more interesting, and at the pace we like. And again, I don't think this is going to, it's going to maybe give back a minute, but I don't think it's going to hurt his pace of play. I think these are all good developments.
Okay, I put a poll question out just to my audience, and I said, will the automated ball strike challenge system add to your enjoyment of baseball? 56% say no, 44% say yes. So that's just me. That's just my small audience. What do you think the public sentiment is on this? What do you think percentage-wise, for it, against it?
I think to really get a feel for this, you're going to have to see a game where a game ends on a called third strike. It's obviously not a strike. They fix it, and then we get a truer result, right? That's what we need. We need a tipping point. And maybe it won't be till the playoffs, right? But we need something where an injustice was fixed. And you think of what are inflection points in other sports? Calvin Johnson catches a touchdown pass. No, he didn't. What's the catch, right? People point back to the 1979 Houston-Pittsburgh playoff game where Renfroe caught a touchdown. They said he was out of bounds. That basically brought in modern replay. So, again, you're not going to get an inflection point in spring training because nobody cares. But when Aaron Judge is called out on a pitch, obviously out of the strike zone in a game that matters, then people are going to care. So we need that kind of signature watershed eyeballs moment before maybe people kind of weigh in on how they really feel. It's one of those things you can't simulate how you feel. You have to see how you feel in the moment.
Okay, season's coming up, and I'm going to get you on a lot, I hope. We'll talk about the season, but you mentioned it a little bit. Are you worried about the end of this season? So we got a season. Are we talking about a major conflict with owners and players?
The good news is this season is fine. 2026 will be fine. What's going to happen is the owners are going to lock out the players in December, and they would say, well, hey, wait a minute, this is a way of getting negotiations, incentivized. This is a way of saying we're serious about this. Let's get going. Let's get the new CBA. This next CBA has to be right. And obviously, what's happened with the Major League Baseball Players Association, the Tony Clark snafu, not great timing on that. The baseball union hasn't had great leadership for decades, with guys like Fear and Orza. They did such a great job of getting what they needed. Marvin Miller, of course, in the Hall of Fame now, posthumously, tilted the leverage to the players after the owners had it for such a long time. But it's going to be a nuclear winter, and what comes down to, Nate, is that, look, for all the people say the Dodgers, they have more advantages, bigger market, they're spending all this money. They are investing their money to try to win. The problem, as I see it, is the teams that can't compete or they won't compete, but say, yeah, we'll take the revenue sharing, we'll take a profit on the books. Artie Moreno recently said, hey, we want to have a good family experience and an affordable ticket and all that, and maybe we won't be good. I mean, Artie, you didn't make some great signings in free agency. You got Pujols on the back nine. Josh Hamilton didn't work out. Anthony Rendon didn't work out. You didn't really get the mileage out of Trout. You should have. He was great, but they never had a winning record with Trout and Ohtani together, which is just mind-blowing to me. We need 30 Major League Baseball owners who isn't just a tinker toy, it isn't just a tax write-off, it isn't just a revenue stream, but they're actually actively trying to compete. That's the problem that baseball has.
Scott Pianowski just getting started, spring training underway, some big things with baseball this season, no doubt. YahooSports.com for the coverage. Scott, good to have you, man. We'll talk again. Thanks a lot.
I look forward to it, Nate. Thank you.
Appreciate your time tonight. Scott Pianowski, great guest. Follow him at Scott_Pianowski on X. He's the National Major League Baseball writer for Yahoo Sports on The Nate Brown Show tonight. All right. So we're going full AI in baseball eventually. Full automated strike zone eventually. That's what Scott said. He said right now the umps are there and you challenge it. You hit your helmet, the batter does, or the pitcher rubs his stomach. No, anyway, he taps his hat too. Tap your hat, rub your stomach. Do that. Challenge it. Give some sign. And eventually we're going to go to automated all the way. So then is that what you guys want? We want just automated stuff all the time? Like AI Colin Cowherd? Is that what you guys want, who debuted today? We've been doing AI Colin Cowherd all afternoon here in the office. It's been a dandy afternoon. And I'm going to debut some of that stuff tonight. Is that what we want, AI everything? What would the question be to AI Nate Brown? South Dakota question. Would you like a success factor in high school? You're dang right I would. Anyway, let's not do that. Let's not do AI Nate Brown anytime soon. Coming right back with James Merilatt from DenverSports.com talking combine and more coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with Expert Crawl Space Sealing by Blackburn Basement Systems. Sealing keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. A sealed crawl space means a nicer home. Don't wait. Call Blackburn Basement Systems today.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
Hey, I'm Dylan, and I'm a South Dakota Lottery intern. I've learned some pretty cool things here at the lottery. Like, did you know 100% of the money we make goes back to the state, including millions every year for education? That's awesome, right? I also learned there's a machine for making your own coffee. Who knew? Anyway, learn more about where South Dakota lottery money goes at goodfunsd.com. Good fun. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly.
If you're on your feet all day, your shoes matter. At Trav's Outfitter, we carry work boots built for long days, tough jobs, and real conditions. From trusted brands like Ariat, Timberland Pro, and Brunt, you'll find comfort, durability, and support that you can count on. Whether you're on concrete, mud, or steel, the right boots make all the difference. Get fitted, get working. Visit us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
As we kick off the new year and you think about new opportunities in 2026, Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company in Rapid City is ready to help you and your family protect your financial future. Nobody knows what life will bring, and that's why it's so important to have life insurance in place. And Lee Cruz is a local guy that will help set up the right policy that fits your needs and budget. Just take 10 minutes, protect your family with life insurance. Google Lee Cruz New York Life. That's Lee Cruz at 605-360-8804.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
Luck runs deep at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort, where you could win a share of $86,000 in cash and prizes. Every Friday and Saturday night from 8 p.m. till midnight, Cadillac Jack's will have drawings twice per hour, with cash and prizes growing all night long. Starting at $300 and building up to 3 chances to win $1,000. Big wins every weekend. No waiting for one grand prize night. See how far your luck can take you at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your night play out?
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 150, want to get 250 here, no 75, 275 now, 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, welcome back in. Just getting going on a Thursday on your drive home on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. Packed lineup tonight. Scott Pianowski got us going. Major League Baseball writer, Yahoo Sports. We'll go to Sioux Falls with Zach Borg. Midwest Sports Plus. He's on tap talking local South Dakota sports. It is a Thursday happy hour tonight. Second hour packed with our guest host, national radio host Rob Kegron is live on the Nate Brown Show every Thursday on Happy Hour. He's coming up. Well, James Merilatt's in tonight. We'll talk Broncos, Combine, and all sorts of stuff. But James Merilatt wrote a big piece on a legend from Colorado high school sports, Bob Ottewill. And if you know this show, you know my guy Doug Ottewill has been a regular guest. And it came full circle. James Merilatt grew up with Doug Ottewill. You're right next door. The two Denver sports media guys that are on the Nate Brown Show all the time. And they grew up together. And Bob Ottewill, the Activities Association executive director in Colorado for many, many years, just passing away. And a great tribute written by James Merilatt at denversports.com. I encourage you to read it. Just really good across the board, denversports.com. James, welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate your time. So, just a quick hitter on that for people who are like, wait, I listened to the show, but James Merilatt's Denver Sports, and Doug Ottewill's been on that scene at Mile High Sports for a long time. You guys grew up together. Now you're both Denver sports media guys, and you just wrote a piece, a tribute to Doug's dad. Explain that whole scenario growing up.
Yeah, I mean, Doug and his family moved in next door when I was in, whatever grade it would be when you're 9 years old. And Bob came into the neighborhood, and he was just that guy that was sports crazed. And, he built a backstop in the yard and, took down all the fences so you could play wiffle ball on the lot and play around the house football. And we played basketball in the driveway, and it was just sort of the mecca where all the neighborhood kids gathered all the time to participate in sports. So the fact that, his son, Doug, went on to work in the field doesn't surprise me. The fact that, myself and some other kids that used to hang out there also have gotten into either sports media or, working in the sports business is not a surprise because Bob instilled that in all of us. So, he had a legendary career. People have talked a lot, and rightfully so, about the things he did with CHSAA. And, in his chosen field, he got to the highest point you can get. But the impact he had on me and a bunch of other 9, 10, 11, 12, however-year-old kids continues on for generations. So he was, people use the word great a lot. I think they overuse it. But Bob Ottewill was truly a great man. So it was a tough piece to write. But I felt like it was something that needed to be said so people knew it about him.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. A great story. James Merilatt on tonight from denversports.com. That story's up there. Colorado High School Activities Association Executive Director Bob Ottewill passing away just last week. So I talk about childhood stuff, by the way, James. Now, you have kids, and I do it. So I grew up like that, too. I'm playing wiffle ball tournaments in my backyard. Wiffle ball tournaments. That was the real deal. Why don't we do we do that still? It seems like not.
We don't do it as much as we used to. I mean, everything now is so organized, whether it's, when they're little kids and it's a play date. I guarantee you, Nate, you never went on a play date in your life when you were a little tight.
No.
To once you start playing, youth sports, I used to play in the North Glen Baseball League. It was right down the road. I'd walk to practice or ride my bike with my my baseball mitt around the handlebars. That's what you did. And now it's, travel teams and club teams and, kids barely play for their own middle school or high school, let alone at that age. So, I'm not saying that like old man yelling at the clouds. A lot of that is for the good. When I was a kid, we played 8 baseball games a year. It's pretty hard to get any good playing 8 baseball games in a summer. But there's something that's a little lost on it, right? The idea of being able to play just a pickup game in the yard or in the street or whatever the case may be is a little bit gone. But I passed it on to my kids. I'm sure you passed it on to your kids. That'll that'll continue on, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it once was, that's for sure.
No, I'm with you on that. It's not the same how you guys grew up, you and Doug Ottewill. Okay, let's shift gears. Let's go to the big headlines here with the Broncos. And some big ones coming out. I'll just get your read first. Sean Payton not going to be the play caller. Do you think that makes a big difference with Davis Webb? This is still Sean's offense, scheme, personnel groupings. Does Davis Webb calling the plays ramp up the offense?
I think it does. I think Sean, and I give him credit for this, he said it before the divisional round game against Buffalo that, he's just not as quick as he once was. We all know as you get a little older, you tend to get a little bit feet of clay. He recognized that about himself when it came to making decisions, making play calls. Heck, we saw it in the AFC Championship game, right? He was going to go for it, then he calls a timeout, and then he changes the play, and it came back to bite him. So kudos to him for realizing, hey, it's time to pass this on to someone else, fresh set of eyes, a young guy, a guy who spends a lot of time with the quarterback. I do think it will help. What I think is going to be fascinating, though, Nate, it's 17-game season's long. There's ups and downs, there's ebbs and flows. They are going to have a tough stretch. That is just an absolute guarantee. What happens when they go 3 consecutive games scoring under 20 points? Does Sean stick with Davis Webb, or does he take it back? The over-under is 6.5 games until Sean Payton starts calling the plays again.
Is that right? So you think that that could happen again? So I'll get into the defensive side. What do you think of CU's Robert Livingston leaving CU as D coordinator, being the defensive pass game coordinator, secondary coach? Is that a big lift for the Broncos defense?
I think, he's basically coming in and taking the spot that Jim Leonard had, and Jim Leonard not only had that position and had that job, but he was sort of the DC in waiting, because I think there's this foregone conclusion that Vance Joseph is going to get a head coaching job. The fact that he didn't this go around when there were 10 openings is a little bit shocking, so I think the built-in plan was VJ gets a head coaching job, Jim Leonard would have moved in to be the DC, so now they want to have, who's the next guy up? So I think it makes sense for the Broncos to make sure they have that guy in place. I think it makes sense for him that that's a landing spot, because the way things are going in Boulder, look, I'm a Buffs fan. In college football nowadays, you never know till they kick it off week 1 what anybody's got. But if you made me bet, I think that's going to be a mess more than it's going to be a success. So probably a good idea to get out of there while you can.
Okay, Broncos report card is out. So this is the Players Association, and people were trying to stop this release of these player grades of everything. Team ownership, strength coaches, position coaches, locker room, how do we treat our families, all that stuff. Broncos have pretty good grades, I think. I don't have to go through the whole thing. What do you make of the player report card for the Broncos?
I think it's about what I would have expected. They get a bad grade on the locker room, but that's their locker room at their practice facility, which they're building a brand new state-of-the-art addition to it where they're essentially redoing the whole thing. So that grade will change. I do think there's a couple interesting things in there. Sean Payton, he gets a B, but that's actually pretty low. Like, it's in the bottom third of the league, so not a great grade for him. Their coordinators got a better grade than their position coaches, so it's like, well, does that mean Joe Lombardi's getting a better grade than Davis Webb? There's some interesting pieces to it, but overall, it's a very well-run organization. I have my criticisms of them that I believe are fair. But overall, since Greg Penner and company came in, it's been a very well-run, top-flight organization. So those grades are what I would expect, and they're only going to get better when their new facility opens.
Why do you think Sean Payton gets a B?
I just think he rubs people the wrong way. I think he coaches people hard. We heard it from Dre Greenlaw after the season. Like, man, I wasn't expecting that. And, some people are fine with that, and some people kind of, don't take it the right way and recoil. I just think there's some of that going on. I'm still, of the belief that I don't think Sean Payton gets a second contract in Denver. I think he's got the next 2 years on his deal. I would be surprised if he continues on beyond that. Again, he wears out his welcome. He rubs people the wrong way. He's getting up there in age. So barring something where it just is unforeseen, my early prediction, Nate, Davis Webb is your Broncos head coach in 2028.
Wow, okay. Throwing that out early. James Merilatt on tonight, denversports.com for his work. Last one, it is combine time, so Broncos trying to figure out who do you get, who do you draft. When you think about needs, what's at the top of your list? Is running back way up there? Where are you at?
I mean, running back, tight end, and receiver continues to be the needs. Middle linebacker is a position essentially they've ignored since Super Bowl 50. They tried to fill it a little bit with the Greenlaw signing. Alex Singleton was a guy they brought in that was a special teamer with the Eagles, who's been good, and we all love the story, but he's not a great middle linebacker. So that on that side of the ball, that's where I would go. But I think offense and offense skill position guys are the need. I do think George Payton, when he spoke at the Combine yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, made it sound like, hey, we're pretty content with R.J. Harvey. We like what we have here, so don't be shocked if the Broncos ignore running back, and if they go on the offensive side, it's going to be tight end because they also like their young receivers.
Boy, Broncos have been trying to find a tight end for a long time. It has been a long time. James Merilatt on tonight. Find him at denversports.com, part of 104.3 The Fan. Good stuff, James. I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Nate. I'd love to do it anytime.
Appreciate your time. James Merilatt on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. He's from denversports.com, 104.3 The Fan, live from Denver. Good stuff from James on the Broncos and more. Let's go to South Dakota sports with Zach Borg. A lot of high school questions for Zach Borg, Midwest Sports Plus. He's coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
When you're looking for new appliances, Menards is the place to shop. We have an excellent in-stock appliance selection from great brands at the best prices. Ready to take home today. Whether you want new laundry appliances or need upgrades for your kitchen, you'll be sure to find appliances that'll make your life easier. Visit Menards and save big money on appliances today. Plus, check out Menards.com to view all of our great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with a low of 35. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny skies again tomorrow, 59. Slight chance of snow tomorrow night, 23. Slight chance of snow Saturday, highs level off around 42. 45, a blend of clouds and sun Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 56.
Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is everywhere you need us to be. On the sidelines, supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
No one has more to choose from at a better price than Mr. Liquor in Rapid City. This month's specials include $5 off all flavors of Kahlua 750s, now $24.99. Save $5 off Traveler Whiskey from Chris Stapleton, now only $29.99. Or pick up Jameson Original and Orange 750s, now just $26.49. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores, off Catron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago at Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports Rapid City, and glad you're here, KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Thursday happy hour is coming up. Our guest host is Rob Kagron. You know that. He's live all next hour. Let's go to South Dakota sports broadcaster Zach Borg. He is in tonight. Let's talk some high school sports and more. Midwest Sports Plus, covering live games all season long. And Zach Borg's in tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Zach, good to have you. How are you?
Pretty good. Obviously getting busy out here with state wrestling, although that's pretty much our only state tournament in Sioux Falls this year, so maybe not that busy.
How was it? I saw you were down there earlier, state wrestling. Here's the thing. Really well attended. There's a ton of wrestlers. It's a great environment. What was the scene like today?
Typical day one scene. A lot of people, obviously. The building was pretty full. I mean, they were reaching up into the upper deck. And, you know, I'm a little bit different than I used to be when I was in TV and I had to show highlights. But I always liked the first round because you kind of know your number one wrestlers are probably going to win via pins, and that's the best video to get. So, you know, a lot of, you know, typical day one stuff. I thought Sturgis looks really good. I know Brandon Valley feels like they're going to be able to place all their wrestlers, but it's obviously kind of everybody chasing down Sturgis right now.
All right. State wrestling underway. Zach Borg on tonight. Let's go to a South Dakota high school basketball topic. I want to know where you stand on this. It keeps on getting revived, and it just keeps on getting turned down, and then people they still keep on bringing it up. Sodak 32. Sodak 32. And people always argue, they say, there's regions in Class A and B that are so good that the teams that can't get into the top two ended up getting shut out of the state tournament opportunity. I don't buy that. I think you got to get in your top two if you're a state tournament contender. Why does the Sodak 32 keep on coming back?
Because people are burnt that their teams aren't making it. At this point, I think that's the only real explanation I have. I'm with you, and I know Matt Kearney and a lot of other people. I think 16 is the right number. You know, what does a 32-team field do? I mean, you see a lot of blowouts in the Sodak 16, so we're going to have another day of that when it's 1 versus 32 or 2 versus 31. I just, you know, I understand that point. There are definitely some tough regions, and I've remembered, but you know, it used to be a whole heck of a lot worse when only one team would go out of the regions. Now we get two because they have the right system. I just don't think 4 in the interest of, you know, more participation is enough. I think that's too much. I think we're at the right number right now, and I think that'd be kind of a waste of time, honestly.
Okay, I do ask people, say, well, look at some of these regions. They have great records. These are some of the top teams in the state. I get the argument, but they are basing it on seed points as well. They're saying these teams in this region, whether it's 3B or whatever region you look at each year, there's going to be a region that's really, really good. They say the seed points show they are the best teams in the state. Is the seeding points system to you really, really accurate to tell you who are the best teams?
I don't think necessarily, because sometimes, you know, obviously if you're talking A or sometimes even double A, you don't get, you know, it doesn't necessarily factor in if a team's beating out-of-state competition, because obviously over here on the East River side, a lot of teams out here, they'll play, you know, pretty good teams in Iowa and Minnesota. I'm sure there's, you know, West River teams that might even go dip into Nebraska or go to Wyoming, whatever, but I don't think it's necessarily the best reflection. And again, these regions, I understand the point of, you know, there's a lot of good teams here, but those things kind of come and go. I mean, it's like it's like farming and crops. You're going to have some bumper crop years where some regions are really good, and then there's somewhere that it's not. I don't necessarily put a whole lot of stock into that. But, yeah, I think the seeding points, I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect system with that, but I don't think it necessarily is the best reflection of what the top teams in the state actually are.
No, I'm with you on that. I think it's a data system. It is, and it gives us kind of a sense for that based on opponents' win-loss record and what your outcome is. Go ahead.
If we really wanted to, maybe we could just, if you wanted to use the seeding points, maybe just feed them into different regions based on that and try to jumble it up and, maybe not set the regions every year, but just maybe do the regions based on power points. That way, then you do, in theory, maybe get more good teams. I think that'd be kind of a headache to do, but, I think, I don't think going to 32 is the answer, because eventually somebody's going to want to go to 64. I don't think we can go to 64, but, somebody will want to, inevitably will go up again. I just think let's keep it where it's at a good number right now.
My question of the day with Zach Borg tonight. He's with Midwest Sports Plus. If you don't have the new high school sports streaming app, get it. Live games all season long, and these guys have been doing a good job. Question of the day. It's a fun one. What happens first in South Dakota high school sports? The SODAC 32 or a success factor for football classifications? Or neither? Or neither?
Maybe the six. I got to be honest, it probably will be the 32, because it seems like there are still people pushing for this thing, and getting football classification changes. We are more likely to see the sun rise from the west and set in the east at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't want to see it. That 32 probably happens first.
Okay.
If it happens at all.
The number one vote getter on the Nate Brown Show tonight, what happens first? Neither. They say this is South Dakota. Neither will happen. SODAC 32 or the football class success factor.
I would agree with that, because this state is notoriously slow to change, and yeah, but I would think if one has a chance to go before the other, it's probably the 32, because there seem to be a lot of people pushing for it for some reason.
Okay, state tournaments are coming up. We got postseason starting right now in girls basketball, and so state tournaments are coming up. I look back when I started my broadcast career in South Dakota, there used to be huge crowds at state tournaments. I'm talking Rapid. I'm talking Sioux Falls. The Sioux Falls Arena was packed. The Barnett Arena, Rushmore Plaza Civic Center, packed. And I'm going to say over the last 15 years, it has really declined. State tournament basketball crowds, they're not even close to what they used to be. And my question is, why? I threw it out there. A lot of people voting on this. Statewide TV coverage. I know we're in the Media's Act, but that has to be a factor. I think families are really busy and don't go to that stuff. They got youth sports. They got all sorts of stuff. Why don't we see big crowds at state basketball? We used to have almost sellouts in big arenas.
Well, I think you hit on that. I mean, for one thing, the arenas are actually getting even bigger now between Sioux Falls and Rapid City, so that probably doesn't help the overall look. But the statewide TV coverage, and now they're streaming as well. You can get them on YouTube, and it's pretty easy to pull up. So I think that's one thing. That's always kind of an argument whenever you televise something. Does that make people want to stay and watch or go? I don't know. I think the Barnett Center, you still do see it for Class B. It's still pretty rabid there, but we've got a lot of classes. I think, depending on the travel, obviously, we'll see what happens in Rapid City this year, but that's a long way for people to come, even though it's a pretty good weekend out in Rapid City. You also have to devote the whole weekend to it, because if you're a parent or you're a fan, your team could be playing in the consolation rounds as opposed to high school football. You're going down for one-shot deals.
Right,
so,
right.
But we've seen kind of – this has been a problem all over sports. I know Matt Zimmer and John Gaskins talked about it on their show, and that, we've seen the college attendance dwindling this year. It's been tough going to Augie at times and seeing some of the crowds they've had. We've seen that USD's had their issues. SDSU is pretty strong, but their crowds are still nowhere near what it used to be when Frost was – 8,000 people would go in the door for those. So I don't know. I think it's a different era. You're right. There's a lot more going on, and tickets are probably a little more expensive for people too. It's more expensive to travel now, obviously.
Zach Borg tonight getting us going on a Thursday. Find him at Iceborg on X. Follow him, a good follow. And Midwest Sports Plus, play-by-play man, getting going with the postseason stuff. Zach, good to have you as always. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nate. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you. Zach Borg in tonight. Midwest Sports Plus, live on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Find his work at Midwest Sports Plus as he covers the postseason for high school hoops coming up. Thursday happy hour is upon us. Rob Kagron's in and ready. A lot to discuss. I'm going to rank the best quarterbacks available tonight. Rob, I asked him, rank the best quarterbacks available. Is he going to bring it tonight? Happy hour starts next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Anytime.com, and of course at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
One more time.
All right, welcome back in. We're ready to go. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in. It is Thursday, happy hour. Are you ready? I think I am. Rob Kegron is back in and ready to go. A lot to discuss tonight. You want to stay right here, okay? We got some big things happening, including ranking the top quarterbacks available. All you guys want to give me grief about Kyler Murray, so I thought, let's just have an exercise tonight. Who should the Vikings, like if you're the Vikings and you want a quarterback, well then who should you get? And let's rank them. So I got 5 guys, and we're going to rank them 1 through 5. And I don't know if Rob's going to be trolling me tonight. I can't tell you, but we're going to get into that. First things first, the Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner, and the right choice without a doubt. The great rates on vehicle loans, mobile banking on my phone, saved me a ton of time. The best in technology and convenience, and I'm telling you, you want a bank that works for you. Take advantage of all the benefits at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. I've been a member. It's great. BHFCU.com. Just start there. Become a member. It's easy. 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Become a member at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. It'll make it count. BHFCU.com. All right, Rob, you're a baseball fan. On February 26th, we normally wouldn't talk about baseball at all. Spring training starting early. Got the World Baseball Classic. I don't watch any of this. I mean, I'm not like, I got to watch spring training. If I'm going to go to Phoenix, go to Phoenix spring training. That's different. That's an experience. Go and have fun with your buddies. I've done that. That's good stuff. I'm just talking about, how are we talking about baseball? We're talking about baseball last 2 days. This automated ball strike system is fully operating now for the season. Batters, pitchers, catchers get to challenge pitches. So even if it's 0.1 inches, 0.1 off the strike zone, courtesy of T-Mobile, thanks for that, guys, it's, then you lose the challenge, right? The umpire or whoever loses the challenge. Red Sox-Pirates game got everybody's attention this week. 5 straight challenges within a few innings, just a few innings, and they all went against the ump. So then everybody ran to social media and said, look at this. This is why we need it. The umps are bad. They're missing these calls. Automated ball strike system. Do you like it? Is this going to work when you're watching baseball?
Well, 100% I like it, Nate. I think that there are... Yeah, I absolutely like it. Now,
you're old school. What's happened to you?
No, I like it because it still allows for the human umpire, right? Like, there was a proposal just a year ago that they wouldn't even do this challenge system. They would just go to the complete robo-ump, right? Like, we've heard a lot about that, where essentially the home plate umpire would be standing there and would be told what call to make. I don't want that. But
you don't want that. That's the way this is going. I hate to tell you.
It might, and it certainly might go down this path, particularly if the data shows that they're getting too many wrong. But I think what I like about the challenge system, and I don't think it's perfect the way it is right now. I'm not interested in challenging pitches in the 3rd inning, right? Like, bases loaded in the 3rd inning, and there's nobody out, something like that. Okay, maybe. Right, yeah. I could understand that. But short of that, I'm not in... When high leverage situations near the end of the game, and an umpire, let's just be fair, right? Umpires are generally more favorable to pitchers than they are to hitters. Not always, but I would say more often than not they are. Strike zones sometimes can get a little wide at the end of a game. I want the call to be correct. I don't want infinite challenges, and they don't have infinite challenges unless they get them right.
Yeah, if they get them right, keep going. You know what's going to happen here, though. I know you think, we're going to save it for the 8th inning, the 9th inning. They're going to save it in the regular season. They're just testing it out now. No, batters and pitchers and catchers think they're so right, and the umps are so wrong, they're going to challenge, and Jimmy's going to lose a challenge right away.
Well, but isn't that on the manager then, Nate? Like, the manager has to instill in his guys, I don't need you challenging a call in the top of the 1st with nobody out and nobody on, and you might get it wrong, and now all of a sudden we've thrown a challenge away. That's on the manager for sure to instill in that. And I think it's going to take some time. It's going to take a few weeks. But in reality, if you're the 8th place hitter in a lineup, are you really going to have the gall to challenge a strike call?
Yeah, they are.
I don't think so, Nate. I absolutely don't think that's going to happen. I think they're testing some things out in spring training and trying to find a sweet spot for how to do this. in terms of each team, but I 100% don't believe that when the season starts, the 7, 8, 9 place hitters are going to have the gall to challenge, unless it's a high leverage situation. They're not going to challenge it in the first, second, and third inning, risk getting it wrong and giving up a challenge.
Why do we have to go down this road of every single little thing we got to challenge? We already can challenge big calls at the plate, big outs, we can challenge that at first at home plate. Why do we have to do balls and strikes by 0.1 of an inch, and then we're going to tell us that the umpires are bad?
And I don't think by 0.1 of an inch tells me that the umpire is bad. But there's all kinds of data now, all kinds of statistics and analytics on how umpires umpire balls and strikes behind the plate. And we could go down a list. And when you and I grew up, we probably knew a lot more about the umpires, who they were. They all had styles. I mean, think about guys like Cowboy Joe West, right?
Yep,
Doug Harvey. I was one guy I remember when I was a kid. I can go down the list. But nowadays, you don't really know who they are. And there are a handful that are excellent, right? And when their stats come out, they very rarely get balls and strikes wrong. But we can go down a list of guys who regularly get balls and strikes wrong.
Regularly.
And they have a bias to a certain particular strike zone. What I do think what will happen through this, and it might take a couple of years, is umpires are going to start to adjust to this, right? They are going to call the game differently eventually when they realize that they're getting lambasted day in and day out because they're getting too many wrong.
By the way, we act like it's so easy these days. Is it easy to be at home plate ump? It's easy to call these, it sounds like.
I think officiating in general is extremely difficult. I would argue in basketball it might be a little bit easier, but in baseball, which is so fast.
Basketball's tough too, man.
And football, which there's so many things to see in a given play. I agree, it is incredibly difficult. But there's so much on the line nowadays, Nate. And we go back to this week in and week out. But when you have this much involved in gambling on sports, things have to be correct as much as they possibly can be.
Okay, will the automated ball strike challenge system add to your enjoyment of baseball? Because we've tried speeding it up. Pitch clock, I think, has been good. We've done some of these things to change baseball, and it's at a high point right now. It's not like 90s high point, but it's improved, and people are watching it, and I think people are getting after it with baseball. Is this going to add to your enjoyment? 5 challenges, and you got to wait for the umpire to announce it? I didn't like it in that Red Sox-Pirates game. I really didn't.
What 5 challenges?
There was 2. Five.
There were 5
straight
in the game. Well, a couple things, though. Number one, they only get 2 per team for the 9-inning game. If they keep getting them right, they get more.
Yeah.
So I get that. But they've tested this in the minor leagues for years now. It's only added like a minute to the game. So I don't think it's going to slow down the game much. It's pretty quick the way that those challenges come up from the T-Mobile where it comes up on the screen. Is it going to add to my enjoyment? No, I don't think so. But what it will do is it will take away from some frustration, right? When you watch a call that you absolutely know just with the naked eye is wrong, and they change it quickly and get it right, that is going to take away a bit of the frustration of fans. And so maybe that gives them a little bit more enjoyment. I can't see it as enjoyment. I just like that we're getting more calls correct.
Do you think it's going to be better for baseball? Question of the day for you on the Nate Brown Show. Rob Kegron's in. It's Thursday Happy Hour. Automated ball strike challenge system will happen this season. You're going to have 2 challenges each team, unless they keep getting it right. And then you got 5. You had 5 in the first few innings of a spring training game. And then you had a challenge when some team was up 10-1. It was 10-1, and somebody challenged it. What are we doing?
Well, I think that is they're still testing out the system. It's a spring training game.
They're just testing it?
Yeah, I think you need to figure out, I think some of it is also training your eye, right? Is what my eye seeing, if I'm standing there, right, and I think that for sure that was a ball, even in a 10-1 game in spring training, it might be good for me to test out, am I getting this correct myself?
So interesting. You're walking that line, Rob Kegron, where you don't want the automated robot umps. You don't want an automated strike zone. You don't want that.
No, I don't.
But this is leading to that, and it's just like this. Just like this. AI is taking over everything, isn't it?
Yep.
Did you ever think it would take over a sports conversation? Colin Cowherd has a show on Fox Sports Radio. He debuted AI Colin today. Did you hear about this?
I did not. Fascinating.
So he debuted AI Colin today, and I thought, this has to be the dumbest thing. AI's taking over baseball. It's taking now sports talk. So you can ask AI Colin anything. You can ask AI Colin, and he's got the answer.
Yep.
So what do you think me and Matt Kearney did this afternoon?
Did you ask him all kinds of goofy questions?
We asked him some great questions.
Great questions?
Here's one. This is AI Colin. Have you heard of the Nate Brown Show?
Yeah, I've heard of it. The Nate Brown Show is South Dakota sports talk out of Fox Sports Rapid City. Then it's built like real radio, live callers, big guests, and a lot of local to national crossover. They're streaming it on X and YouTube, and they push it as a 2-hour guest-heavy show with handicappers and reporters popping in. Quick gut check. Do you like your sports talk more caller-driven chaos or more interview-driven and structured? That's the sweet spot. Structured interviews are where you actually learn something, not just yell into the void. The best hosts control the tempo, ask the second question, and don't let the guests skate with cliches. That's real radio. That's real content.
That's AI Colin today. He has heard of the Nate Brown Show.
This is unreal. That is freaky. That was so detailed. I mean, he nailed it spot on.
Can you believe that? We asked him one more question. Does he know Rob Kegron?
Oh, my gosh. I don't think I want to know the answer to
Does
this.
he know Rob
I'm going to get my ego beat up on a Thursday night in Rapid City, South Dakota, all across South Dakota.
Does he know Rob Kegron of the Nate Brown Show?
No, I don't.
Right now, Rob Kegron's lane is sports radio, and he's popping up as a guest host on the Nate Brown Show in that Thursday happy hour kind of role. You can find him in the guest host slot on episodes from early December, mid-December, and late January. So it's not a one-off cameo, it's a recurring thing. He's basically the change-up pitcher. Comes in, keeps the show moving, brings a different voice, then hands it back. Yeah, I've heard the vibe of his takes. He's not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. He's trying to be the most listenable guy in the room.
Wow! I have made it again! I'm a big shot again! That just made my week, maybe my year.
Can you believe this?
AI Colin Cowherd knows who Rob Kegron, as he says.
Yes. So he's still got your name wrong, like everybody.
Everybody else does.
He's still got your name wrong.
Only you get it right.
That's amazing.
I am floored by that. So... And you can ask him any question.
You can ask him any, we're sticking to sports and we got some South Dakota State stuff. And
I mean, this could be a real, Kearney, this could be a real segment weekly. Like, what should we ask AI Colin this week?
By the way, I don't know if any of this stuff, automated strike zone, AI Colin, is any of this stuff good?
I think the strike zone I think is good. AI Colin I think is entertaining for sure. I mean, I think I could... This is kind of one of those things, instead of doom scrolling at night, I could ask AI Colin 1,000 questions.
Let me just tell you, we had the show planned and everything, and then we probably spent 2 hours on AI Colin.
I can imagine it just goes off the rails. Like, and particularly when you're getting real answers from him, like, wouldn't you just it just keeps generating more questions to see what he's going to say.
And it's very interactive. It's back and forth. AI Colin Cowherd, he debuted it today. It's on the Fox Sports app. If you dare, go to the Fox Sports app, and then you can ask AI Colin Cowherd. It's amazing. And I said, will there ever be an AI version of the Nate Brown Show? Ask me South Dakota sports questions. I could do a lot. How they did this, they put together 2 years of his shows, every show, and they put together his cadence and the whole thing. I mean, it sounds like scary.
It sounds like you just got a recording of him.
It's just like absolutely
sounds
crazy.
like you did an interview with him, taped it earlier in the day, and just playing it back.
And it's spontaneous. He gave your read. Was that a good analysis of how you do this show?
Absolutely. Although sometimes I do try to be the smartest guy in the room. If I'm being honest.
Let's see if you are. Rank these quarterbacks. If you're the Vikings and you need a quarterback, I've got 5 guys, so we're going to rank the best ones out there next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Pristine interior paint and primer in one is Dutch Boy's best hiding and most durable paint. It delivers a smooth, elegant finish while providing maximum scuff, stain, and mark resistance. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and get your painting project started today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
The bakers of Country Hearth and Village Hearth Breads are proud to support local education with Loaves for Learning, the program that makes it easy to earn money for your school. Enjoy Country Hearth and Village Hearth all-natural breads, buns, bagels, and more, then save the UPC from the package for your school to collect and redeem. Each is worth 5 cents and can be used for books, computers, sports, music, whatever your school needs, up to $10,000 a year. Learn more at loavesforlearning.com. Country Hearth and Village Hearth Breads, baking our best for you.
Finding the right gear starts with finding the right people. At Trav's Outfitter, we take the time to get to know you, to understand the work you do, and help you find the gear that fits that work. We're here to earn your trust one visit at a time. Because when you work hard, where you shop should work just as hard for you. Visit us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with a low of 35. Westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny skies again tomorrow, 59. Slight chance of snow tomorrow night, 23. Slight chance of snow Saturday, highs level off around 42. 45, a blend of clouds and sun Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 56.
Buying a pre-owned vehicle is a big decision, and where you buy it matters. That's why at Spearfish Motors, we don't shop car auctions. We keep it local. Our pre-owned vehicles come from trades with people right here in our communities, so you know what you're driving and where it came from. That's locally sourced, the Spearfish way. See us today at Spearfish GMC Cadillac, or shop a great selection of clean and inspected local trades at spearfishmotors.com.
The high school basketball season wraps up this weekend on Fox Sports Rapid City. On Friday, the Rapid City Stevens Raiders host the Sioux Falls Washington Warriors in a doubleheader beginning at 6. Then on Saturday, the Rapid City Central Cobblers battle Sioux Falls Washington beginning at 12:30. I'm Jerome Wickersham. Join Dean Gura and me for the pregame shows Friday at 5:45 and Saturday at 12:15. The Raiders meet the Warriors on Friday, the Cobblers and the Warriors on Saturday, right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
And welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Wild Thursday today. We had endorsements from Colin Cowherd, AI Colin Cowherd, just wild. We shocked you with that, didn't we?
I am stunned. Like, we've been talking about the whole break, Nate. Like, I can't get enough of it. Like, I am going to get on that Fox Sports app tonight, and I'm just going to get lost for hours asking AI Colin things.
It is crazy. Some people, I mean, I don't know what to think of AI, and I never thought, oh, it's not going to get into sports talk. And I'm like, that's the type of thing. Now, can AI do everything we're doing? No, but it's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild. Rob Kegron's in. It's Thursday Happy Hour on the Nate Brown Show tonight. So we've been talking about Kyler Murray, and I'm on this bandwagon early. So I want to announce the line for the Kyler Murray bandwagon is behind me. Just remember that as this happens. The line behind the Kyler Murray bandwagon starts behind me.
I see a lot of empty space. I'll say that right now.
I'm just telling you. So get ready. Kyler Murray I believe, should be the Vikings' #1 target. You disagree. You think it's not going to work, the whole thing. So I said, well, let's just use the Vikings today, and let's rank the quarterbacks that are available. Like, you maybe could go and get these guys. And I'm not going to go through an Anthony Richardson. There was some report today that said the Vikings could be interested in Anthony Richardson. Is that crazy? That's crazy.
Makes no sense. I mean, why is anyone? I mean, he's a huge project. You know, maybe somebody wants to take a flyer on him. as a second-string quarterback, but he's not a starter anywhere right away.
Okay, so I'm not putting him in. I do have 5 guys that I think are going to be somewhere. They're going to be somewhere. So let's do this. Ranking the quarterbacks. If you guys want to hit Kyler, I want you to tell me who's better. So let's go 5 guys. Rank them from 5 to 1. Who is the best quarterback available if you're the Minnesota Vikings? Essentially, if your team needs one, the Vikings do. My number 5, Malik Willis. Malik Willis is out there. I don't know if he's going to be a real guy, but he kind of got a slow start to his career. Got thrown in right away, and then has been a backup. Malik Willis probably going to be a starter somewhere, my guess. And it looks like he could command some money is what it looks like. But I only got him at 5. Number 4, I'm going to go Mac Jones. Mac Jones showed last year he could play. So I think there's a market for Mac. I don't know what that number is either, but I'm not telling you Mac Jones is going to be like my guy Sam Darnold, Super Bowl Sam. But Mac Jones should be able to start somewhere after what he did with the 49ers and had a good run there. So that's number 4. Number 3 for me, best QB out there if you need somebody. Give me Tua. Give me Tua. I think he's not great. I don't know if the injuries are going to be continuing. That's a bad thing. It's a lot of money. I'm not considering these contracts, guys, when I'm talking about if you need somebody. I'm just talking skill level, quarterback-wise. Tua is number 3 for me, right in front of Malik Willis, Mac Jones. This was tough for me to do because I think the guy's essentially going to be a hat rack now. He's not going to be able to move. He's just going to be able to throw it. But he's smart enough. If he comes back, I guess you have to bring in Aaron Rodgers. That's my second guy, just for what he's done. I think he's really fallen off a cliff. He was okay with the Steelers. I don't think he's good anymore. Rob loves him. But Aaron Rodgers, number 2. So what does that leave? I didn't do this on purpose. Kyler Murray's the best option out of these 5 guys by far, and I'd like you to tell me why not.
I got so many reasons. I'm looking. I wrote your 5 down because my 5 are written down already. I'm not making this up. And literally, we don't have any that match in the position that they're in.
Oh, is that right?
Not a single one. And first and foremost, it's because I have Tua absolutely last.
Tua's last.
I don't get it, Nate. Like, the guy's he's had one full season, right? He gets hurt all the time. He had a shortened season last year, and he threw 15 interceptions.
He must have done something for the Dolphins. They gave him some big money. He had a couple of good years in there for the Dolphins.
He certainly did have a couple of good years, but he hasn't been able to sustain it. And more importantly, do you want a guy who's sitting next to a guy who both have injury problems, right? I mean, you have J.J. McCarthy. He's had a couple of different kinds of injuries. Now you're going to bring Tua with all of his concussions. I don't see how that helps you at all. That just creates more problems.
We just had a texter say that Tua is the number 1 option. Number 1.
And not in my book. I wouldn't. I don't trust him. I don't trust him to stay healthy.
I can't believe so Tua is worse than Malik Willis. This is pretty good. And Mac Jones. This is pretty good.
Malik is my number 4. All right, and Malik, and I get it. He's shown some spurts, particularly in Green Bay. But let's be fair, folks. I mean, he threw 89 passes last year. 89. Yeah, he threw 60 Ds. But in 4 years, he has 105 completions for 1,300 yards. In 4 years. You're telling me you know what this guy is what his trajectory is? I think he could be good.
That's why he should be behind Tua. I mean, but come on. He should be behind Tua.
Tua is never on the field. He's always hurt. I can't put Tua anywhere near it. Does Tua have better talent? Yes. But part of it is availability. You got to be on the field. And I don't want him next to McCarthy, and both of them are hurt. And we're in no man's land again.
So you're saying no Tua, no Malik Willis. So your top 3.
Number 3, Arizona Cardinal, Kyler Murray.
That's way off, and you know that.
No, I don't know it.
Mac Jones.
Again, Kyler Murray is another guy who hurt a whole lot, very small frame. I get that, if you put some targets around him, okay, but it's not like he didn't have any targets in his time in Arizona. Very inconsistent. And more importantly, we've talked about this before, I don't trust his work ethic. right?
Yeah, that's overplayed.
It's not overplayed. There's things like that don't leak unless there's some truth to it. Nobody ever talked about all of these great quarterbacks in the history about their work ethic.
Hey, Lamar Jackson plays video games too, and he seems pretty good. So
if you have the talent that Lamar has, you can get away with a whole lot more than Kyler. Because let's be fair, Lamar is much more talented than Kyler Murray. So I don't trust Kyler enough. I think there's some upside to him, right? Well, the one thing I'll give you is I think the ceiling, if you got everything out of him and KOC could find a way to work well with him, I think his ceiling is high. And so that's why I wouldn't be against it. Mac Jones, to me, is if you love Sam Darnold, Mac Jones is the reclamation project. He played a lot of games last year for San Francisco. Basically passed for over 2,000 yards. He had a 70% completion percentage, didn't throw a lot of INTs. Kind of, in a similar way to as Darnold went with KOC and rejuvenated his career, Jones with Kyle Shanahan, another quarterback whisperer. I could absolutely see that working well with some real talent around him in Minnesota.
And the number one option is Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
you didn't ask me for the next 5 years. You asked me for now.
My goodness.
And if you give Aaron Rodgers an offensive line, a running game, and he certainly has real talent of who he can throw to the ball to with Minnesota, you will get everything out of Rodgers, and you could make a run with him. I'm not saying for 3 years, but for next year, you want to make a real push, Aaron Rodgers is your guy.
You see Aaron Rodgers. You saw him last year.
Made the playoffs, Nate.
My goodness. Aaron Rodgers. This version of Aaron Rodgers is better than Kyler Murray, who can run around, who can sling it. Better than Tua even. I mean, that's
Tua.
Close to
I don't
me.
get the Tua
Those guys
thing.
are close to me.
I don't get the Tua thing.
Tua and Aaron Rodgers close to me. Kyler Murray, number one. I'm going to stick on. I'm going to stay on that train. Listener text. I'm going to stand with Rob. Tua is worthless.
Wow, I don't think I said that, so let's make sure we clarify that for the audience. I didn't say that anyone was worthless.
Whoa, he said Kyler is worthless too, he said.
I didn't say that one either, but someone clearly doesn't like Tua or Kyler.
You did put Tua number 5 out of these guys, and that is a miss. That is a miss. Speaking of the NFL, so the tush push is not going to be banned, I guess. They're not even going to bring it up. But they are discussing one thing, and I wonder if this will get going next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
On X, follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back. Your sports, your show. The Nate Brown Show is on. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. Rob Kegron's in. Appreciate him coming on. Thursday happy hour. Glad you're here as well. If you missed parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every guest, every segment right there. All the shows. Great lineup this week. The Nate Brown Show podcast available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. We debuted Colin Cowherd, AI Colin, on the Fox Sports app today. He announced this today, and I'm like, oh, this sounds stupid. And then you just go down a rabbit hole, and you can ask Colin anything. AI Colin answers all these questions. It's wild. So if you don't believe me, try it. We just had a listener try it. He just sent in. He asked if the Detroit Tigers would win the World Series, and AI Colin told him they have a great shot.
I love it.
Test it out. And I think, Rob Kegron's going to go home tonight, and you're going to be asking AI Colin on Fox Sports app all sorts of stuff.
Well, I'm going to start with actual serious sports questions just to get his take on things. And then, of course, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. I'll probably pour myself a cocktail, and I'll start asking goofy questions to see what I get out of it.
How about this one? You ask him about Kyler Murray to the Vikings.
Okay? I will.
Ask him about that.
Here's what I'm going to ask him. Kyler Murray or Aaron Rodgers? Who would you take? AI Colin?
That's easy. So let's save that and come back with it. Competition committee in the NFL meeting this week, and my big thing was the tush push has been ugly. It's not a football play. It's a mess. And I thought even watching some of the plays that happened this year, is it a first down? Did he fumble? We can't see. It's a jumbled mess. It's hard to officiate. You can't tell what's going on. They cannot bring it up to ban it because nobody brought it to the rules committee. So it was close last year. I thought, well, they'll do it again. They're not going to ban the tush push. First start there. I think it's wrong, and I don't think you're a fan of it either, are you?
I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't feel like a real football play, to be quite honest. But where I have a bigger issue with this, Nate, is for a couple of years now, at least the last 2, you have not been able to figure out how to officiate it correctly. And if you can't get that right, it's the only play in football that they consistently make mistakes on in terms of the officials, in terms of false starts, things that they're not
spotting
seeing.
The ball, all of the fumbles. Did he fumble? Did he not?
And if you can't get that right, and there's no mechanism to fix that, then you got to take the play out, because I can't think of another play in football where they struggle this consistently with it. And think about how many slow-mo replays we saw over the last season, where, particularly more than anything, of course, with Philadelphia, where you watch them just jump a little bit early, and they consistently don't call it. And if you can't get the call right on the field consistently, I think they should absolutely examine getting rid of the play.
So here's the rub on this, and they haven't announced it yet, but they're talking this week about, well, no tush-push ban proposal is there, but we are discussing aiding the runner. So this used to be a rule years ago in the NFL. You couldn't push a runner forward like the big O-linemen do to gain another 5 yards. I hate that, too. It looks stupid. It's a defensive disadvantage in a big way. Defense has to try and stop. Here comes 3 offensive linemen carrying a guy like Josh Allen for 11 yards into a touchdown. So how are you going to stop the aiding the runner? You're going to say, well, when it's open field and stuff and the big pileups, so we're going to stop that. That's great, but the tush push is aiding the runner. That's how they do it.
Yeah, this makes no sense. If you're going to go down this path, and I get that there is a difference between pulling a runner or ball carrier and pushing them, and certainly like the Josh Allen play that you just referenced, that was more of almost pulling him into the end zone. I think that's already on the books, so you're not supposed to be able to do that. They just don't call it,
yeah.
right? If you're not going to allow aiding a runner from behind, and that would be what we would define a push as, correct? Right? The one player or group of players is behind the ball carrier and pushing them forward, then intrinsically the tush push can never work, because what is it other than pushing a ball carrier, more likely than not a quarterback, forward? You're aiding that person going forward. Either you're going to allow it all the time, or you're not going to allow it at all.
So, and you and I would say just no tush push, no aiding the runner, both things out.
Correct. I'm all for just getting rid of that. That your chance to help your runner is by blocking the defenders in front of you and giving them space to run, not by pushing them into the defender and trying to create more of a mass force to get past them.
By the way, we have an update here on the Nate Brown Show. One of our listeners has asked the question you were going to ask. AI Colin Cowherd. So he's taken over the Nate Brown Show. This is amazing. AI Colin, they asked him just now, who would you take if you're the Vikings, Kyler Murray or Aaron Rodgers? And I'll read AI Colin. I can't do it like Colin, but I'll read his answer. They just sent it in on the text line. The Vikings' decision will likely depend on their long-term vision and the trade-offs they're willing to make. If they want a younger, more mobile quarterback, Murray might be the better choice. If they prefer a veteran presence with experience playing under their current coaching staff, Rodgers could be the way to go. Well, thanks a lot, Colin.
What a non-answer, Colin.
You got to have a take. You got to have a take. And he straddled the fence.
Yep.
He straddled the fence. That was a letdown. What a letdown. See, AI stinks. I told you. He wasn't straddling the fence with Rob Kagron.
No, he wasn't. He was completely. I'm shocked by that one. I'm going to find a clever way to ask AI Colin tonight to basically put him on the spot and make him answer the question.
Make the call. Coming right back, Rob Kagron's favorite college basketball team set a record last night. What a beauty. Next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
The Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live, the Nate Brown Show. Rob Kagron is in. It's Thursday happy hour. Thanks for making this show possible. Hope you're having a good day. Everybody's doing fine. If you missed parts of the show, the Nate Brown Show podcast is available. Download it where you find your podcast. Appreciate you being here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're live right now on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe, watch the show live, and get the archive show as well. Well, you know I had to do this, Rob. I was talking to you last week. I said, hey, March Madness coming up, and you're a big St. Johnny's guy, St. John's. And they had a nice revival last year. Coach Bettino, he can coach, right? He may not be the best guy, but he can coach, and brought him back last year. I didn't take him far in the tournament because they couldn't play any offense. And so he had defense. They gave good effort. I didn't take him far in the tournament. I had him knocked out early, and that's what happened. And then I asked you, I said, look at these guys. They're on this winning streak. I said, St. John's, are they the real team this year? Your team, St. John's, are the Red Storm? Are they going to go through this? And they had this winning streak. And you said, hey, these guys can score. These guys can play. They played UConn last night. St. John's missed 24 straight shots. Their last make came with 7:28 in the second half last night.
I know radio doesn't work when I'm silent, but I was trying to do that for effect there. I usually have a quip for you every single time you say something to me. What I saw last night was absolutely putrid and pathetic. I was stunned.
Goodness.
St. John's played UConn like 2 weeks ago, and it was a great, great game. And St. John's beat them. And didn't beat them handily. It was a close game. But they were definitely the better team. I mean, St. John's didn't belong on that court last night. That's how pathetic it was. They shot 20% for the game from the field.
Well, when you
20%,
when you miss 24 straight shots, so I was trying to look. Is that a record? That's the longest streak of missed shots by a ranked team in the last 8 years. I thought it'd be longer than
like
that.
50 years. Yeah.
So last most missed shots by a ranked team in the last 8 seasons. That's 24 straight misses. St. John's got blown out by UConn, and now everybody's going to say, oh, man, we're going to take these guys out of my bracket early, right? But you still think they're good? Are they going to bounce back?
Well, I think they'll bounce back. I am a little concerned about them against really high competition. So I'm not that worried about them in the first 2 rounds. I would be worried in any kind of Sweet 16 matchup. Because I think they'll probably end up being a 5 seed, something like that. And I could see them winning 2 games. But I think beyond that, it's going to take a really special effort, and you can't have any. Forget missing 24 in a row. Forget all of the mess of last night. You can't miss 10 in a row and expect to win big-time college basketball games.
I don't know if I coach 7th grade girls basketball, and we haven't missed 24 straight shots.
Really?
That's saying
this
something.
Is the path you want to go down?
Something. I mean, we score better than that. I had to take that shot at you, St.
I deserve it.
It's the only time we talk St. John's basketball is when this guy's in here from New York, his team.
My alma mater.
UConn took him down, and your favorite coach, Dan Hurley. Listener text as we wrap up. Hey, guys, AI Colin is a clown, just like real Colin.
Ooh, that's not very nice.
Whoa.
Shot.
Have fun. You can ask him that. Hey, AI Colin, are you a clown? Have fun with that. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. Rob Kagron in. The podcast going up now.
Inheritance, romance, and investments.